Rahim. After going through few videos which were about the ecosystem and some of the substances we borrowed from the Jami, now we are coming to specific examples which are included in the course. The first would be the pond ecosystem. Pond ecosystem or the water aquatic ecosystems, we can divide them into two categories: freshwater bodies, ponds, lakes, streams, rivers, wetlands. Other is the marine water bodies, oceans, coral reefs, estuaries. So both of them, they are aquatic, but one is a freshwater system, our streams, rivers, water, and the other is the marine, oceans, coral reefs, estuaries. They are there. What is pond? You can see in this picture that a closed natural body of water is called as a pond ecosystem. This is a natural body of water. If we go back to the definition of the Jami, he recognized artificial ecosystems also. So if you have a unnatural pond, a pond which has been made by you for certain purpose in your home or nearby or in your fields, that would be artificial. So, but the definition in this case is a closed natural body of water is called as a pond ecosystem. Some ponds, they have an outlet, they have an inlet. Some ponds don't have outlet, inlet, closed water body is there. If you go to the Shandur Pass, there is a water body, lake is there, and that lake depends upon the rain and the snow melt water. It doesn't have outlet, it doesn't have inlet. So that's a closed natural body. Limnology is the one term. Freshwater bodies, freshwater microbiology. So limnology is the study of the freshwater ecosystems. Limnology simply means the study of the freshwater ecosystems, the quality of the water availability, survival of the water. So two aspects are there: lentic, standing water bodies, as I said, and moving water bodies, lotic bodies. So two aspects are there. Freshwater ecosystems. Freshwater ecosystem includes water bodies with very little dissolved salt, such as most pond, lakes, streams, rivers. No water body is absolutely devoid of salts. All freshwater bodies, they do have some salt within the acceptable limit to us, within the acceptable limits to the human, within the acceptable limits to the plants or to the aquatic flora and fauna. Ponds and lakes are standing. Ponds and lakes, they are standing, stagnant, flowing, slow flowing water bodies. What is a freshwater? Now we define what is a freshwater. Freshwater is defined as containing a low salt concentration, generally less than 0.5 say like 1%. If a water body has 0.5 up to 1% salt, that would be defined as a freshwater body. So whether it is a lake, whether it's a closed pond, whether it's a open situation, so if salt concentration is less than 0.5 or up to 1, that would be termed as a freshwater bodies. Plants and animals in freshwater bodies are adapted to low salt contents. They are unable to survive in habitats of high salt concentrations like oceans or salt lakes. This is a picture of a Thar desert. I have borrowed it from the net. You can see that salt is harvested from Mukai Salt Lake in Thar Desert, Pakistan. The area is about, there are about 170 salt lakes and 100 salt mines in the Sindh. Most of these salt lakes and mines are located in Tharparkar, Sangar, Umarkot and other parts of the Thar Desert. Some example of lakes are the Alameen Salt Lake, Tapri Salt Lake or Saravan Salt Lake. So this is, you can see the white all where situation, the white bodies, white color is due to the evaporation of the water leaving behind the salt crust. So life would not be possible, and you can see no plants are there. You can be seen no plants are there because high salt concentration is a killing factor, removal factor. Freshwater pond or lakes, like a typical ecosystem, there must be 4 essential components of pond to be designated as a complete ecosystem. In the beginning, all these 4, 5, 6 lectures which we have started from the beginning, they say 4 components are there to be called as a pond, to be called as an ecosystem. Since this, we are dealing now with the aquatic situation, with a pond or a lake, so they must have 4 requirements, they must complete those 4 requirements. Think of any pond or water body in your vicinity. If you belong to villages, you can see water bodies, natural water bodies, in the form of a stream, in the form of a river, or in the form of a pond. Or if you are in the city, so outside the city you can move on. From Peshawar, if you move towards the Charsadeh area, so you can come across various water bodies here. Khechki Lake is there, Akbarpura Pond is there. So think those situations and just visualize. You don't go if you cannot go, so think in mind. Once you have gone to some water body, think what is there. Water is the most important of all factors for flora and fauna of pond ecosystem. Since this is aquatic ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem can survive only and only if water is there. If water is removed, everything from that pond or from that habitat would be killed, gone. No life would be there. It would become terrestrial life. The quality, quantity, seasonality of the water affects the distribution and occurrence of the flora, fauna and microbial organisms. So that is the quality, whether it is saltish or a fresh water, whether it is a clean water, whether it is a poor water, whether it's a polluted water. Quantity, whether the quantity is enough for the plants, for the animals, for the fishes or for the aquatic organisms to visit to there. Seasonality of the water, that is the seasonality, whether the pond receives water during the winter rain or summer rains or no rains, drought conditions are there. So this all would affect flora, fauna or microbial organism of the pond. Physical qualities अगर आप ले लेते हैं वाटर की, तो just see turbidity, transparencies. Turbidity means गदलापन, खड़े उबो. खड़े उबो means turbid water, गदला पानी. Transparency means transparent water. Definitely, if it has transparency, this would mean there is less material in the form of a dust, in the form of pollution, or in the form of the floating organisms within that water body. So turbidity, highly turbid water, गदला water जो है, ये life के लिए, plants के लिए, animals के लिए is not acceptable. Color of the water, कि जिसका color क्या है? Definitely color would depend upon the turbidity and transparency and anything which is added to it. If some water is added, some pollutant is added by the industries, if it contains colored water is not acceptable to the aquatic organisms. They are adapted to a certain level of transparency, so color of water definitely is a negative factor. Water depth, whether it is a shallow water or deep water. Shallow water becomes, it has a different temperature conditions. It can be heated up early. It can lose heat early because of a shallowness. Deep water would retain. It would gain heat slowly, but it would lose heat slowly. If it is a deep water, there will be a lot of variation within the water body. Stagnant है या running water body है. Definitely stagnant water becomes polluted due to its own organic matter. Running water body has more oxygen availability. Stagnant water has poor availability. जहाँ पानी खड़ा होगा गंदा हो जाता है तो ऑक्सीजन की अवेलेबिलिटी कम हो जाती है. डिजॉल्व्ड ऑक्सीजन BOD COD उसका बढ़ जाता है. रनिंग वाटर बॉडी है, दैट मीन्स कि it is moving. With the movement there is addition or replenishing of oxygen gases. गंदा चीज़ें are removed. Cold है, hot है, temperature क्या है? If it is too cold, definitely problem is there. It is too hot, then again problem is there. These ponds which are in the alpine regions, high altitude area, they are too cold, so only specialized fishes or organisms they can be there. Hot weather fishes, hot water fishes, hot water organism, hot water plants and cold water plants or organisms, they differ from each other because of this situation. कोई भी जो pond ecosystem है, this has been divided into 3 zones based on depth and distance from the margin. Depth is more important. Littoral zone, this is the uppermost part, that is this situation you can see. This is littoral zone. Limnatic zone is the in between, or profundal zone is the lowest. So 3 zones can be there. In this picture you can see these are the soil, and within soil this is a pond. So 3 situations. These 3 situations, they differ in their life form, in their biotic part, in their chemical or physical behavior. Littoral zone जो है, this is the warmest zone because it is shallow. As I said कि shallow water, deep water have different physical chemical features. So littoral zone is the warmest zone because it is shallow. It absorbs easily more solar heat. It supports fairly diverse community. Limnatic is the second. It is near surface, open water, well irrigated, well lighted, and zone surrounded by the littoral zone. Third is the profundal zone. Profundal zone, this is a deep water. Deeper zone has limited life. Limitation of life is there. Number 1 would be lack of sufficient oxygen, lack of sufficient light, low temperature, much colder, denser than the 2 other zones. So if oxygen is poor in any water body, animals, organisms from aerobic would be replaced by anaerobic. Light is not there, plants may not grow there. Low temperature is there, so all organisms which can tolerate low temperature, they would be present and others would not be there. It is dense because it is a deep water, so dense है, so dense में again. Every pond has 3 temperature zones. Because of these 3 zones, so they also differ in their temperature conditions, and they are designated as the first uppermost zone, epilemnion, upper zone, consisting of free circulating upper layer. Here water circulates, here a mixing occurs, so more or less uniform temperature is there. Second zone, which is below it, metalemnion, it is also called thermocline or a middle zone. Temperature decreases by 1 degree for every meter downwards. So if you go further downward, for every meter 1 degree centigrade temperature would decrease. Topmost warmer, this is middle zone where temperature start decreasing by 1 degree for every 1 meter depth. Hypolemnion, lowest zone, the lowest most. In this case, this is the deepest and the cold layer. The temperature remains more or less constant at 4 degrees centigrade. So 3 zones. Chemistry of the pond ecosystem. This is second feature. Compare the chemistry of the water in terms of pH, acidity, salinity, alkalinity, mineral contents, pollutants, and oxygen or oxygenation. Salinity, acidity, chemistry of water controls the type and population of the organisms within the ecosystem. All these chemical features which we have described in the form of the pH, acidity, salinity, alkalinity, mineral contents, various minerals, pollutants or oxygenation, they control the type of living organisms, their population, their behavior, or their working. Salinity level, if we consider this level, aquatic ecosystems are divided into 2 types based on salinity or concentration of dissolved salts in the water. Freshwater ecosystem less than 0.5 parts per ton. Saltwater marine ecosystem 30 to 50 ppt. Both these types of ecosystems have their own ecological, physical, chemical, biological features. Compare Indus River ecosystem with that of marine ecosystem Karachi. I showed you the slide in the third adult. The entire area was whitish, so no plant was there. Probably no microbe would have been there. Biological quality of the water body. Compare the following parameters. See species population of micro and macro type. That is macro, micro, flora and fauna. Organic contents कितने हैं? Types and population of the microbes. Decay matter or decay rate. Polluted, non-polluted. And then eutrophication level. Quality of soil affects pond life. Since this pond is situated in the soil or in the surrounding area, so the impact of the soil itself in which this is present or the surrounding area which feeds it, that can affect the physical chemical behavior of the water body. Soil texture, sandy, silty, clay, low, stony structures are there. This sandy, silty, clay, stony, pebble, this structure, this affects the microbes, it affects the macro animals, it affects the plants, it also affects the absorption, retention of the decaying material. Chemistry of the soil, definitely. Lime soil, carbonate soil, polluted soil, all wherever, just to, I will give you an example, wherever there are crushing machines or this marble cutting machines, industry, and they add their water to the nearby stream, nearby water body or to the river, so that has a different chemistry, different organisms are there. Polluted water is usually oxygen deficient. Nutrients are present in unavailable form. Nutrients may be there, but they are in the unavailable form, like nitrites which is a toxic material, sulfides, again toxic material, ammonia form, again toxic material. So these would inhibit the growth, development, production of the microbes, plants or animals. Availability of the oxygen in water is the most important factor governing the flora and fauna in any aquatic ecosystem. Without oxygenation or gaseous exchanges, life is impossible, would not be possible. Aerobic versus anaerobic. If it is aerobic, means oxygenation is there, so most of the plants, animals or the life would be aerobic organisms. But if oxygen is deficient, anaerobic population would decrease. ये आप देखें कि बाज़ औक़ात जो गंदे नाले होते हैं इसमें कोई भी लाइफ नहीं होती है, पौधे नहीं होते हैं, कुछ भी नहीं है. ये I gave you an example of the Shandur lake, top of the Shandur 13,000-14,000 feet. No fishes are there because lake is highly saltish, cool. Oxygenation is poor. इसी तरह think of stagnant water, running water. Stagnant water accumulates pollutants. Running water keeps on washing itself. Polluted, non-polluted. So organically rich or poor water. If you add organic matter like city waste, municipal waste into a certain nearby water body, that would kill the aquatic life, plants, animals, microbes, fishes. So impact is there. Light is essential for producers in pond. Pond definitely has aquatic plants. Those aquatic plants, starting from the margins and moving to the deeper layers, they vary in their response towards decline in the light energy. No producer green plants can survive. If plants without light, if no light is there, so there would be no producers. Plants would not be there. Animals may be there because animals, they can move to the surface, to the down, to the here and there. Light availability divides water body into two zones: autotrophic, photosynthetic zone. This is the zone, this is the part in which plants are there, photosynthesis there, and light can penetrate. Heterotrophic zone, consumption zone. Here plants would be absent, photosynthesis would be absent, but consumers would be there, because consumers, they don't need to prepare their food, they depend upon the prepared food material, so that would be there. Organic matter accumulation, debris accumulate in the bottom of the pond, which serve as a raw material for the microbial organisms. But again, constant added organic matter, if it lies there, it would reduce the depth, it would reduce the oxygen availability, it would have a negative mineral composition. It provides foods to saprophytes. It may also cause eutrophication in the pond. Physical factors. Various physical factors, chemical factors, and biological factors of the pond are necessary for maintenance of living organisms. So, physical factors, chemical factors, biological factors, they are needed to maintain, to manage an ecosystem. A healthy water body is more productive with high species diversity and with more stability. But if water body becomes poor, becomes highly salty, becomes highly alkaline, becomes polluted, then it cannot sustain, it cannot manage its going on. Biotic component. Now look for the flora. I said in the beginning, visualize in your mind what kind of situation is there. So we have discussed the abiotic part. Now the biotic part. Now look for the flora and the fauna. What kind of plants are there? What kind of insects are there? What kind of fishes, toads, frogs, or visiting aquatic birds are there? This is the biotic part. Microscopic observation can reveal the presence of microbes and responsible for the decay. Although all these biotic features constitute the living part of the pond ecosystem. Trophic levels within a pond, it also varies. Producers are green, they produce the first trophic levels because they are self-nourishing or autotrophic bodies. They utilize the light for photosynthesis, so they sustain their consumers. में आप देखें again जिस तरह हमने उसमें कहा कि जी herbivores would be there, primary war level would be there, secondary carnivores be there, tertiary carnivores be there, and ultimately you have decomposers, decay organism. Do you see all these things? They would vary with the physical, chemical, biological behavior of the pond. This is one situation showing the producers of different categories. Submerged producers, free floating producers, leaf floating producers, partially emergent producers, amphibious producers, and woody producers. At the borders, at the top. So at the top you can say there would be a woody, amphibious, leaf floating, and others. Phytoplankton, zooplanktons. Phytoplanktons, yes, you can see because of its green color, but zooplankton you cannot see there. All unicellular or filamentous algae freely floating on the surface or within the water body constitute the phytoplanktonic producers. They are distributed as deep as light can penetrate. But if light is not available, they would not be available. Zooplanktons, these are small microscopic free-floating animalcules ingesting phytoplanktons. So visualize for them. Saprophytic organisms, normally organic matter or decaying substances you can observe. So this would be a microscopic part. The decomposer saprophytes in a pond generally consist of aquatic bacteria, flagellates, fungi, hyphomycetes. They are distributed throughout the muddy soil and organic body. The types and population of microorganisms are deficient with slow and poor decay activity. This is a generalized, but microscopic examination would be needed at what kind of microbes are there, what kind of fungal organisms are there, what kind of other animals are there which cannot be seen with the naked eye. Thank you very much. Again, I will request to subscribe this channel to help the students. This would be help to the students also to like it and pass on to your colleagues, your class fellows. Thank you very much.